Good morning, good looking people, and you're good looking because you're always looking, and of course you're finding the good in every single little small thing around you and around us. Today is the 5th of Menachem Av. Today is Sunday. Hope you're having a nice weekend. Can the physical and the spiritual coexist? Hashem put in this world all these wonderful physical items, right? Great homes, cars, money, nice meals. Why did Hashem create all that? There are different teachings and different customs out there where people might say, hey, in order to get more spiritual, you got to stay away from the physical. You got to limit yourself. On the contrary, in today's Hayom Yom, today is about the Baal Shem Tov's teaching that they're both connected. You need the physical and the spiritual. In fact, the real work that we have to do is to transform that physical item and make something spiritual out of it. Use something that's physical and bring the good out of it. Bring us closer to God. So let's read the Hayom Yom today, and then we'll go over the message and the thought. It says in the pasuk, and that's related to today because in today's Tehillim, in chapter 34, in verse 15, it says, Sur me'rav aseh tov ba'kei shalom v'radfeu. So, what does that mean? It says, turn away from evil and do good. And it continues and says, seek peace and pursue it. The Baal Shem Tov explained this verse as follows. Every physical thing that is permitted to us contains good and evil. Its material dimension is evil, and the divine vitality that animates it is good. A person who makes use of the physical object must turn away from evil and not long for the materialistic pleasure which that object affords. He must do good, to desire to be sustained and supported by the divine life force that lies within the physical object. And it continues as follows. Moreover, one must seek peace and pursue it. A person who turns away from evil and does good must actively seek to make peace between the physicality and the divine vitality that sustains it. There's a lot of words there, so let's break it down into the message. The Baal Shem Tov has a teaching here that we're trying to, that when Hashem created an object, there's a physical side and there's a spiritual side. The way that physical object is able to be there is the spiritual vitality that makes that object. And the concept of today is connecting the two together. So, let's say, for example, we're going to have a nice meal. We don't just have a nice meal to have a nice meal. There's got to be a purpose of it. For example, Shabbos. We bring out our best. We put out the best foods on the table. Why? Because it's a mitzvah of Shabbos. Everything has to be connected to something else. I'm eating a great meal to give me good energy to go learn Torah. I'm building a nice home. Why am I building a nice home? I'm building a nice home so I can have guests inside my house. I can have Torah classes in my house. Every single object that you have and everything that's out there, there has to be a spiritual uplifting or something that we can bring out of it and connecting and bringing peace between the two. There's a nice story of Reb Zusha Me'anapoli, who was a chassid of the Alter Rebbe, and he brought out a teaching, as it says in Bereshis, where it's talking about the angels and Avram Avinu. When the angels came to visit him, Avram Avinu quickly went and prepared all this food. And the way the pasuk says, it says, "V'hu oimed aleim tachas ha'etz vayachelu." It says he stood above them. What does that mean? So the concept of what's being brought out today is us versus the angels. Of course, the angels are very spiritual, but they don't have the mission that we have. They can't eat like we eat. They can't live in the material world like we can because we have the ability to take things that are physical and to uplift them. And what Reb Zusha Me'anapoli was saying is that when Avram Avinu prepared all these foods for these three angels, he realized they couldn't even eat it. And he got the mitzvah of preparing it. And the reason why he uses the word oimed, which means Avram Avinu stood over them, is that is our superiority over the angels, is that we have the ability to take this Hasidic teaching from the Baal Shem Tov and to transform the physical over the material. It's something as a human being, as people, as we're alive here, that we have this opportunity in every single thing. And you got to look at it and say, where is the spirituality in this item? How do I make this item better for God? How do I make something to get Torah out of this? What can I do to benefit this item into a more positive for godliness? And that is the mission of the day. Yes, physicality and spirituality can coexist. And the way the Baal Shem Tov teaches us is that not to stay away from things. It's on the contrary, get those items, earn those items, bring them together, and then transform them into something spiritual. Have a great and successful week. Wishing you all the best, and I'll talk to you more tomorrow.